This is Wretched Radio with Todd Friel.
Do not sin. Just telling you, do not sin. This is Wretched Radio. I'm about to say something, and your immediate inclination is going to be to sin against me. Don't do it. Here we go. In an effort to keep me from going completely crazy, did you pass or fail the admonition? In an effort to keep me from going completely crazy, would like to share something with you that we're going to listen to together because I'm trying to figure something out and I don't have it worked out. Now, that's typically not the way we do things here at Wretched Radio. Typically, we like to work things out, do some studying, research, and then present. I don't have this figured out. In fact, I'm not sure that this is figure-out-able. So perhaps you could help me and keep me from going just bonkers on an issue. I want to share with you two courtroom dramas. Here's the first one. A young lady is guilty of getting a bunch of parking tickets that she hasn't paid. And the judge shows mercy. Please listen to this encounter, because then we're going to listen to another encounter where the judge does not show mercy. And you're going to say, well, wait, then where can you show mercy? See, one of them feels right. The other one is like, no, that's not right. You shouldn't have upheld the law like. So where do we find this balance? And I think that this is actually has some practical implication for us as we consider our culture, our justice system, rules at home. Do you have a child who's they missed their nap and they're just whining all afternoon long? You kind of have some leniency because they missed their nap, circumstances. Another parent could go, doesn't matter about the circumstances. That child needs to knock it off right now. Okay, well, yes, that's true. So where do we weigh circumstances with justice, mingling mercy with justice? This is court case number one. Fascinating stuff.
All right, the one on 11-1.
On the Nissan.
Yeah, the one on 11-1, I went to Social Security because they had cut my check. Because my son was recently killed last year. So they cut my check because he had owed money.
Who?
My son was killed March of last year, right? So I was his rep payee. So they took my money because he had owed money. So I had to go to Social Security to fix that matter. When I came out, I had a ticket. Then another time on the 5th, the parking meter wasn't working. I have the picture for that. On 1/4, I was at court because my landlord was trying to evict me. So I was at eviction court. Come out, I got a ticket. Mind you, he won possession of the apartment, so I had to move. So I got a ticket, he won possession of the apartment. Then I get another one because I tried to go to the legal services to try to get help to fix this. I go get some change out of Dunkin' Donuts, come out, I got a $100 ticket.
What was
it's like I can't win.
What was the situation with the mix-up in Social Security with your son?
My son was killed last year, March of last year. They said that he owed $75 of overpayment from May of 2016. Mind you, he was already deceased at that time. So what they did was they stopped my whole check until I went in there to fix the problem. So when I came out, I had a parking ticket.
All right.
I've had a tough year already. I'm on SSDI. I don't have $400 to give you.
What would you do? What would you do? She broke the law. Simple as that. She broke the law. Would the judge be wrong to say, nice story, pay your fine? I guess that's certainly an option. But you ask yourself the question, why does that feel wrong? Why does that just feel wrong? Hold on. The circumstances, they just keep getting worse and worse. What would you do?
On top of whatever else, I really do. I just had to come up with money for a new apartment. I'm still paying Russell and Boyle for my son's funeral. Like, I don't know where this money's supposed to come from. I wish I would have got my brother that night and he wouldn't have killed my son.
Hold on.
That's why my son's gone.
Did you catch that? Her brother is the one who murdered her son.
And I'm just really having a tough time, Your Honor.
I think we can all express our sympathy to you and understand the trauma that you have experienced. I'm going to take all of the circumstances that you just have explained to me into consideration and see if I can balance the equities to protect the interest of the city and take into consideration, you know, the horrific story that you just told us relative to your son. I don't think anyone in their lifetime would ever want to experience that. So.
Do you catch the tension? Representing the interest of the state, and yet he's not supposed to be overly sympathetic to the interests of the state. That would make him unbiased, and justice is supposed to be blind. He wants to take into consideration. So we could ask at this point, what things should be considered? Because she's having a bad season of life. How bad does it need to be to cancel out justice? Do you feel the tension in this? And I'm certain the Bible can help us with this. I just haven't figured it out yet. Here's what the judge did.
It's the worst feeling in the world. I feel so empty, Lord.
I'm going to reduce this to $50. How much time do you need to pay it?
I have it on me now.
All right. That's not going to leave you without any money, is it?
I'll leave here with $5. Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm not going to leave you with $5. I'm not going to leave you. I'm going to dismiss everything.
Thank you.
All right. With our best wishes and hope that things turn around good for you.
That felt right, didn't it? That seemed to be the kind thing to do. I think one of the things that can help us through this thought is keeping realms of authority, defining some lines, government laws, moral laws, and sometimes they overlap. Some people would say all laws, moral law. I understand that. Not sure that that's quite the force of a government law that doesn't have a particular commandment in mind. Nevertheless, it just seemed that we can consider certain things that might mitigate the consequence for somebody's behavior. Now, you also think about, well, did we ever see justice and mercy mingling? Yes, at the cross, but that fine was paid. That fine was paid by Jesus. Somebody had to pay the fine for our sin. That was Jesus. So this woman is just being let off scot-free. So what would you do? Now, there was another court case down in Texas, and a young woman was being abused by her husband, held at knife point at times. He was going to trial for his criminal behavior, and the judge was really mad about what? The fact that the wife didn't show up to testify against her husband. And so she ordered the woman into court, said, "What's your excuse?" The woman said, "Been really depressed. It's been really, really hard. I've been scared. I've got a 1-year-old child that I'm trying to raise. I don't have any money. I'm living in my parents' basement. And so I'm sorry." And the judge said, 3 days in the clink. Now, the Supreme Court of, did I say Texas? It was Florida. If I said Texas, I meant Florida. The Supreme Court in Florida actually brought that woman into Supreme Court and basically undressed her. What you did was shameful. It showed that you had too much deference toward the state. It demonstrated that you weren't being a judge that was mindful of any other considerations. Therefore, you're done. And shame on you. And what was the difference? Okay, one upheld the law and didn't take in mind any considerations and was reprimanded for actually just sentencing the person and executing justice. The other woman that we just heard, it was completely dismissed. It was let go because of circumstances. So that's why, if you could help me not go crazy, biblically, remember Jesus said about the Sabbath laws, Mark chapter 2, Pharisees are all uptight. You don't get it. The Sabbath was made for man. In other words, this law was made to serve man. And if there are instances where the law does not serve man, then it doesn't need to be adhered to. So that's one hint that this can happen, where we can look at circumstances and go, I know what the law says, but recognizing full well that can be abused very, very quickly, and there can be times when it's extremely subjective. Now, you want to chew on that? Let me know. idea@wretched.org. And you could apply this to the conversation on immigration if you really want to make it zesty. This is Wretched Radio. Thank you very much for watching one segment. You can listen to 3 more, well, if you can stomach it, for free at wretched.org, iTunes, Android, whatever your listening device is. If you have a plate in your head, you can pick up the program from anywhere around the world, thanks to the ongoing monthly support of our gospel partners. Should you be one of the people who has listened to the program for an extended period of time, meaning more than once, would you please consider becoming a gospel partner so we can continue to proclaim the good news of the gospel? Simply visit wretched.org.